Hello, and welcome to Organ Miniatures, a weekly video series aimed at demystifying the organ. I am your host, Rob Hlebinsky. Let's begin. In the last couple weeks, we've learned about the manuals and the pedals on the organ. In case you missed any of those videos, you can find a link to them in the description. Now, if you remember back to the video on the manuals, you'll recall that the keys by themselves don't play anything. In order to make sound, we need to use stops. Have you ever heard the phrase, pulling out all the stops? Well, it comes from playing the organ. Now, if you're doing something and you're pulling out all the stops, you're putting everything into it. If you're playing the organ, you are literally using every sound on the instrument. Now, stops are these round knobs that can be found on either side of the organ. In some cases, some instruments have their stops as a row of tabs above the manuals. This is one of those instances where there is some variation into how organs are built. When you pull on a stop, all the keys on the manual that stop are connected to will play that particular sound. If you pull on multiple stops, then each key will play multiple pipes at the same time. This allows organists to use millions of different combinations of sounds, and no, that's not an exaggeration. Now, as we take a closer look at the stops, you will see that they all have names, and some of them have familiar names like flute, oboe, trumpet. But then we have some more unusual names like Lieblich gedeckt and Vox humana. This is where stops get fun, and I'll let you decide whether or not you want that word to be said sarcastically. Organs are built all over the world, and especially in America, we often borrow stops that are peculiar to certain cultures, most popular being Germany, France, and Italy. Frequently, those stops will use their foreign name when the translation is very obscure. For instance, the Lieblich gedeckt right here comes from German organs and literally is translated as lovely flute, which is not very helpful in terms of what the stop actually sounds like. Now, I could go through what all the different stops mean and what they sound like, but this is supposed to be an organ miniature, and I could easily spend a half an hour talking about this instrument alone. The quickest way to find out what a stop with a strange name sounds like is to just pull it on and start playing. In addition to the names, almost every stop has a number on it. The number on a stop refers to the pitch level and corresponds directly to the length in feet of the longest pipe on the stop. 8-foot stops sound at the same pitch level as the notes on a piano. Allow me to demonstrate. Four-foot stops sound an octave higher than the notes that are played, and 16-foot stops sound an octave lower. 2-foot stops are an octave higher, and 32s, which we have only over on the pedal, sound 2 octaves lower. But Rob, you're saying, some of these stops have fractions. Yes, they do. The stops that have fractions on them, such as this Nazard 2 2/3, sound at a different pitch than what you play. For instance, when I play a C from this Nazard, the note that you're hearing is actually a G. Now, these stops are never used on their own, but are used in combination with other stops to give it a different color. Finally, you'll notice that a few of the stops have Roman numerals, such as the forniture or the mixture. These stops have multiple pipes connected with each note, and the Roman numeral tells you how many pipes are sounding when any given note is playing. For instance, if I were to pull on the forniture and play one note, you would actually be hearing 4 pipes at the same time. Now, we have a few more stops that don't actually make any sound, but we'll cover what those do in the next few weeks. In the meantime, if you have any questions about anything you've seen here today, please feel free to ask in the comments, and I will do my best to answer each question. See you next week.